Welcome to another edition of Primetime Sportz. I'm your host, Malik Brown. I've been feeling a little under the weather this week, but you know what? That wasn't going to stop me from delivering all this great news we have in store for you today. And what better way to start the show than to talk about an individual that doesn't let anything stop him from doing his best either. Taylor Duncan is a true testament of courage, persistence, and determination. He goes beyond measures to keep his dream alive, not only for him, but for others. Primetime Sports reporter Jared Oliver went out to meet Taylor to learn why he keeps fighting.
21-year-old Taylor Duncan loves the game of baseball, but has not always had the opportunity to play.
At a young age, I wasn't really allowed or couldn't do many of the things I do now because of developmental delays. I had speech issues, I had anxiety issues, sensory issues. It just kept piling on and on and on.
At 4 years old, Taylor was diagnosed with autism, a developmental disorder that affects a person's ability to communicate and interact with others.
I didn't know a lot about autism. I was a school teacher and I'd taught kids in my classroom with autism before, but everyone on the spectrum is so very different. It took me about 2 weeks to get over the shock of it, and then I decided, you know, if he's going to make it, it's going to be up to me to help him to make it. And so I just started learning all that I could about it.
Taylor refuses to let the odds stack against him. He made a choice to lead others just like him, creating the Alternative Baseball Organization.
I felt like the world needs to know what we're capable of. The world needs to know that with hard work, it may take some different ways of doing some things, but with time and with your effort to work hard, you can get just about anywhere in life.
He's his own worst critic, and at the same time, he's goal-oriented and driven just to be the best that he can be.
Taylor decides to bring us to the field to show us his skill set at the plate.
I gotta get my timing down.
There is a quote on your website that your organization runs by. It is not a disability, it is simply a disadvantage. What does that mean to you?
I've always said this to myself, really. I never looked at autism as a downer. Temple Grandin wrote in one of her books, in one of her studies, that where there's a deficiency in the brain, there's always something somewhere else to fill that up. There's not a hole in that brain. If you really want something that badly, do whatever it takes to get where you want to go.
For Primetime Sportz, Jared Oliver.
Thank you, Jared. I wonder if Taylor has been giving some tips to our baseball team lately, because they're on fire right now to begin the season. They're off to a 3-0 start for the first time since 2011. Reporter Joey Redmond brings us a preview for what's in store for the Panthers.
The 2017 baseball season is here. Head coach Greg Frady and outfielder Ryan Blanton are looking to improve on the team's 24-31 record from the previous year. This season opened up with 3 home games as a part of the Atlanta Classic, where the Panthers went undefeated, including a walk-off against BYU in the 10th inning on Monday. The team will continue with non-conference play until March, with the toughest upcoming opponents being Georgia Tech, Ole Miss, and Oklahoma. We will be keeping you informed on all of the baseball team's accomplishments throughout the season, so make sure you stay tuned with Primetime Sportz. I'm Joey Redmond.
Thank you, Joey. The baseball team will be in play this evening at 6 in Jacksonville. Have you ever thought that the athletes are always grumpy? Well, they might actually be kind of nice. From inside the sports arena to outside on the beach volleyball complex, the indoor and outdoor volleyball teams are fierce together as a group, but individually, they may be the coolest people you'll ever meet. Here are 2 previews from reporter Rashad Milligan, who took time to interview Elijah Zachary of the indoor team on her career at Georgia State, and reporter Caleb Johnson, who had a nice sit down with the beach volleyball team to discuss their life outside of sports.
But in a September 2015 home match against Kennesaw State, she tore her ACL. It was the first month of her senior season.
Man, that was kind of an interesting moment for myself. Honestly, I was just like in pain. So hobbling to the bench was just like, oh my gosh, like this hurts so much. But just in shock, I guess. My body went into shock, I went into shock, and just kind of being like, okay, like what's the next step? I'm always someone like, I'm not gonna dwell on this moment, like what is the next step? And just thinking about, okay, like if this is it, hopefully I can get a red shirt. If my career is over, I'll be pretty sad, but you know, and just really focusing on my team. I think in that moment, that game, I was so inspired by the fight my team put in, and to the point where I was like in tears, like probably a little emotional too from the injury, but I was just so proud of them, like coming back up in the second set, I think, after they were like testing my stability of my knee out in the training room, and seeing that they were up and just fighting with everything they had just really brought me to tears, because like my team truly loved me and like wanted to win that game for me. It might have not worked out the way that we wanted it to, but those girls are my everything. They always have my back in tough situations.
All right, ladies, I want to thank you for joining me out here today, out on the sand complex. So in being in the sand, it always makes sense to me that you're getting to be a kid again. You're getting to play in this like fun atmosphere that not everyone gets to do, and especially to be in college and to be able to participate in that type of atmosphere. So I did want to ask you some questions, getting back a little bit to your childhood. NSYNC or Backstreet Boys?
Oh, NSYNC.
Backstreet Boys.
Oh, NSYNC.
Definitely.
Backstreet Boys for sure.
I have to know why.
There's no. Are you kidding me?
Nickelodeon or Disney?
Definitely Disney for me.
Why?
See,
I just love Disney. Like you can't like knock Disney. It's the best. Like
Because of what?
like
No,
everything.
But like Nickelodeon had the game
Like
show.
that's your
Like,
childhood
Nickelodeon
though.
like was SpongeBob.
Disney
I
is your
loved
childhood.
SpongeBob.
The game shows
and that was on
too.
Nickelodeon, but like Disney was always on after school.
What
so
is
like
What is
Yeah.
playing beach volleyball in downtown Atlanta like?
It's so cool. I think it's so cool.
I love it.
To like look
Yeah.
around and see buildings. Like I think it's
Yeah,
pretty neat.
it's so cool. Just like our little, like tucked away little like
It's like our own
piece of
little
sand.
world.
It's
feel like
so
you-
cool.
we have
yeah.
come to the
palm
beach.
trees, like yeah.
I know it's like a whole different place out here.
It's
you
like
know?
a getaway.
The palm
from
trees
the
really
city.
make it though.
Yeah.
Like,
Thanks, Rashad and Caleb. And I'm sorry to break it to you, Nickelodeon, but Disney was one of the best kid channels of all time. Y'all see what I did there? Anyways, if you want to see the full video of both Rashad and Caleb's feature stories, make sure to go on our YouTube page. Both the men and women basketball team will be playing tomorrow at Little Rock, Arkansas. The women will tip off at 5 and the men will follow at 7. Next Saturday, both teams will be back in the sports arena to take on our rival, Georgia Southern, so that's something you don't want to miss. That's all I have for this Friday, folks. If you're feeling nice today, make sure to follow us on Twitter at Prime Sports with the Z and subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. Oh yeah, and before I leave, shout out to Georgia State for winning Best Team this past week at the Southeast Journalism Conference. I'm proud of y'all. Until next week, people, I'm Malik Brown. Have a blessed weekend.